I wanted to address a couple of comments that were left in the comment section in the previous video, or the most recent video. I do realize and I do understand that this can be a very difficult topic, or just difficulty period when you are encountering new information. A lot of times, we can have sort of an aversive sort of reaction to new information, and so we deal with that level of it's called cognitive dissonance in a way that's dismissive a lot of times. Anyway, so I wanted to it's important that you review information that you come across, right? That's very important that you do that. And when you do that, it's important that you understand it. I feel like a lot of the problems in terms of a lot of these types of topics is not comprehending information, right? So that's important that you're able to do that, to comprehend what it is that you're reading, or to comprehend whatever it is that you're listening to or viewing. And the reason it's important to review information is so that way you can, make informed comments or commentary. All right? Because when you don't, and you put out information that isn't properly situated in its proper context, so it's decontextualized, or if it's not necessarily decontextualized and it's just all around ignorance about the topic, then you're disseminating misinformation, which I usually delete because I don't like misinformation on my channel personally. Some people, they are okay with people leaving comments that are misinformed. I don't like it because you're not properly taking, history and situating it, in its most factual position where it needs to be. And that creates a lot of problems down the road, and just it's problematic. So I'm very much about making sure information is properly regarded, and information is properly situated within its context. So, okay. So again, yes, it's very important that you are an informed commenter, So when you're reviewing information, it's important to understand sequence, right? It's important to understand trajectory, because then you can follow along, with what is being said. It's important to be able to also critically think, okay? That's very important for you to be able to critically think. And if you're unable to do that, and there are people out there that are like that, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, okay? There are people out there that just they don't have the skills. They just don't have it, and that actually points to lack of access in terms of resources, and that having an impact on a person's capabilities to comprehend and understand information that they come across. I see it all the time. Okay. So you need to first watch the video first, or whatever it is that you're coming across, before you sort of make comments, right? Part of the comment dealt with the foundation of and reggae, right? So the commenter left, well, you can't point to one foundation, right, as the base for ska and reggae. And then he mentioned some other things. Um, so you can, right? You can point to one foundation, right? If the evidence is there. Okay? If the evidence is there, right? That is the direction you go in. You know, I can't change the facts. Facts are facts. I can't change the facts to soothe, you know, how you feel about the situation. I just can't. That's not my thing. I don't do that. If you prefer what they call confirmation bias, right, then you might want to go to a different channel, or, you know, just, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But if the evidence points to a single source, or one source, the foundation, that is where you go towards. Now, I have no problems with submitting the truth. No problems. I have no qualms at all about that. If ska and rocksteady and reggae had varied origins, then I would know. I would present that. I don't have any issues with that. That's not my thing. I don't do that. I don't put out information that disregards other people, right, or dismisses other people or information, right? That's just not me. Okay, facts are facts. If ska and rocksteady and reggae had mento and any other sort of foundation present, if there was evidence for it, I would say it, and I would present it. But it doesn't. The evidence just doesn't substantiate that. It doesn't support it. And so it's important that we ensure that we're being we have some sort of integrity, right, when we relay information. You can't always lead with your emotions. You have to have a good balance. Your emotions can lead you, down the wrong direction sometimes. So you have to make sure that you are striking a good balance between objectivity and subjectivity, logic and your emotions and how you feel about things. Okay? So when we get to research, I now have a background in research, okay? And I mean real research, not... So I look for certain things, okay? I look for certain things. And these three sources up here, you have primary source, secondary source, and tertiary source. I primarily give you guys secondary source information. Majority of the time, that secondary source also includes primary sources, because the secondary sources are usually analyzing primary sources. Okay. So there was another comment that mentioned what did she mention? I believe she mentioned, okay, in research you have hypothesis and theory. Now, theory in scientific research is different, right, from theory in the general sense. In research, we don't look at finality, right? So we don't necessarily, there isn't this idea of proof, so to speak, right? So you're not looking at this sort of, finality related to a particular hypothesis or theory or study or anything like that. It's similar to open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. So one is much more final. So closed-ended questions are yes and no, right? So there's no room for anything. It's just a yes or no. And then you have open-ended questions that are much more open, right? So there's growth. It allows for growth. It allows for variation, and it allows for variance. It allows for movement, right? And so that's how you can look at research. I hope that makes sense. That's how you can look at research. It's very open-ended, right? So you can have facts and things that substantiate particular hypotheses and theories, but we don't label them as proof, right? It's called scientific evidence, right? It is evidence, but it's not, there's no finality attached to it, because things can change, as you investigate, and, things come available to you in the long run, in the future, that things can come around and they can just confirm the previous. So that's why we always look at things from a evidentiary perspective, as opposed to it being some sort of final conclusion. Okay. So that's how I look at things. Current evidence to date suggests that there is no evidence to support mental being the base for Sky, Rock City, and Reggae, because the evidence it's not there. It's just not there. Because again, you would need to look at the whole, right? What's in Mento? What should we? What are the elements in Mento outside of the 2 and 4 beat? Okay, the offbeat, afterbeat, outside of that, because both Mento and R&B have that. So it's not so much, again, it's not so much which one had the 2 and 4 beat and which one didn't, right? Because they both had it. It's about which culture dominated. Okay, Mento did not dominate. It just didn't. It peaked in the 40s and 50s. I mentioned that in the other video. You have to pay attention to information. You can't just ignore it, or you can't just not look at information and just comment. This information has been out there for years. You either don't want to take the time, right, to research the information, or you're too discomforted by the information you do hear about, and so you don't research any further, and so you hold on to commonly held beliefs that have bits and pieces of facts, but it's not really factual. Okay, so I forgot my point, but I just want people to be able to, I understand it's difficult, a lot of times, to encounter information like this, but the other comment dealt with, and I actually really found this really, really, really insulting. Very insulting. I took it as an insult for Black Jamaicans. I took it as an insult. Because you have to be very careful with what you consume and accept, just because it makes you feel good and because it gives you some sort of distinction. Right? By the way, this hypothesis that seems to be out there amongst the populace, or the people that are aware of it, it's not factually supported at all. It is a hypothesis that was thrown out there at one point in research, but it's not. It was never supported, to be honest. But it was just out there as a possible, a possible hypothesis, but it was never supported. It's not supported. History doesn't support it. Facts don't support it. Okay? Doesn't support it at all. The idea, and I said I was very insulted by this. The idea is that there is it was accidental, right? So these black folks in, Jamaica, common folk, musicians, they didn't know what they were doing. They just ignorant folks. They didn't know what they were doing. Okay? But that's not accurate, especially when you look at the covers that were produced in Jamaica, right? Black, covers of Black American music, or there were a bunch of them. Okay, and some others they were heavily steeped in Black American music. Okay, when you take a look at some of those records, right, there are very deliberate renditions of Black American songs, so they knew what they were doing. Right? They were very deliberate, right? So trying to label these people as, just common folk musicians who don't really have any elevated skill sets, and even with Minto, I mean, that's complex music. Why in the world, it's beautiful music. I mean, so why in the world would you even accept something like that? It takes skill. It takes skill to, produce that kind of music, right? Yeah. So you gotta be, you gotta be careful. So they knew what they were doing. They were very professional. They were steeped in jazz, and they were very capable musicians, people, from Minto on up. Okay, it doesn't matter that they were, imitating or copying Black American music. So be mindful of the types of things that you accept, because you want to I don't know, feel good, right? Or it makes you feel good, right? There's nothing to be ashamed of, and it doesn't make your culture any less valuable because there was reliant on Black American music or outside influence. Okay? But the facts are the facts. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. I hope, this was, I hope I explained it well enough for you. At some point I might go through this article, this journal. It's not a difficult article, but I just feel like maybe at some point I can just kind of mark this up and really go through it with you guys, or for those that are interested, because there are some points in the article that I know can be a bit disjointed and can cause some level of confusion or discombobulation. Okay, I know, because I've read it and I'm like, oh, if if someone isn't really aware of sort of the progression or the historical progression of the music, they can get really caught up here and think this, that, and the other. So at some point when I have time, then I'll just go through the article and hone in on some things. So, yeah. So just, make sure when you come across information, you make sure that you are reviewing all the information so you can go out there confidently. Right? I mean, it ain't even got to be my stuff, just any information you come across. So you can go out there confidently and know that you are properly engaging in conversation and discussion to your best ability. You want to make sure you are an informed person. When I don't know things, I ask questions, or if I'm not clear, if it's something is not clear to me, I ask questions, or if I don't know enough about a topic, I ask questions, or I don't try and go beyond what I know. If there's something I don't know, I just ask questions. So just make sure you're reviewing the information, and then if you have sound information, this will be sound information here. Okay. Sound information, verifiable information, vetted information, plausible information, factual information. Okay? Not sciolism. Okay? Not bits and pieces of information mixed in with myth, to sort of fill in the gaps. Okay? If there are things we don't know, we just don't know. All right? You go off what is there, fact-wise, evidence-wise. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I really have nothing else. Yeah. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye.
these feet in these shoes, they walked a mile or two. Got these legs, they done work, they left them black and blue. Got these hips, they are wide, but they know how to move. Got these hands to lift the weak or slap down a racist fool. This is all this is all I got. Got this place I call my home, but it's no Taj Mahal. This is all I got these pockets, they ain't full grown, but I won't take from no one. Got this heart, like it's been broke, but it's still beating strong. Got this song, it ain't much, but it helps me carry on. This is all.
Seem like I've been talking too long, but not much. Hope that you've been listening. It's like a place I'd rather be. The world don't seem to understand me.
This is all.
It's like I wanna be talking all along. My best platform. This is all I got. Tell the people I know to let them know.
Got a will that lifts me up when my body can't. This is all I got. Got a way of getting through with no helping hand. Got a mind that lends me strength, so I ain't free to stand. Got a love so deep in me, can't be stopped by any man.
Talking too long, but not much.
You know I'm not playing, 'cause this is all I got. And that won't play with no, you're not playing with no. It's all I got, yeah.
But of course I did approach. I thought I'd break the ice a bit with maybe 2 or 3 notes. She was way too fly for me, so I tried to grow wings. Small laughs and big compliments will maybe stretch out some things. She was a Morris. I tried to give her a more than gorgeous, more than I'd ever seen. She was a walrus. I tried to give her a warning, but she was way too much, more than I'd ever seen. She was way too fine for me, but of course I did approach. I thought I'd ask her out tonight and maybe she'd say yes and go. She was way too fly for me, so we ate on the top floor. I'm hoping on this altitude would impress her even more. She was a Morris. I tried to give her more than gorgeous, more than I've ever seen. She was glorious. I tried to give her more but she was way too much, more than I ever seen. She was way too delicate, so I had to warm my hands. She seemed a little bit fond of this, but new to romance. Her body was shivering, but she asked me to proceed. She was so angel-like as she rocked her waist. She was enormous. I tried to give her more than gorgeous, more than I've ever seen. She was glorious. I tried to give her more but she was way too much, more than I've ever seen. So you know I tried to get her to more me, more me, more me, more me, got some things in store. Just come to my room, lady. All I want you to do is lay in my bed. I'll do anything you ask of me. Listen, I usually see you around my way every day, and I ask myself, how come I don't know your name, where you're from, where you've been, and it kills me, it kills me. I'm not the kind of man to be afraid to say hello. How you been? What you doing? Where you going? I'm not the kind of man to let a chance slip away. So baby, let me tell you what I gotta say. Just come to my room, come to my room, and I'll show you things you've never seen in this world. Let me tell you what I gotta say. Just come to my room, and I'll show you things you've never seen in this world. Just lay in my bed, and I guarantee you won't leave. I'll cook you food. If the man's good, but I could be special for the day. Just come tomorrow. So if you're ready for me, on the way to the stars, stop at Venus, then to Mars. Baby, take the keys, open my dreams. You will see you're lying next to me. I'll show you things you've never seen in this world. Lay in my bed, and I guarantee you won't want to leave. No, I'll cook you food, do what you please, but I'll be there. Come to my room, I'll show you things you've never seen in this world. Baby, I can lay in my bed, and I guarantee you. I'll cook you food. I'll cook you food. Said I'll cook you food. Special for the day. Special for the day. See, I could be a special for the day. Special for the day. See, I could be a special for the day. Come in my room. Oh yeah. I would like to hold your hand, take you to the floor for this last dance. I would like to move to the rhythms you groove to, yeah. Take it, haters, I don't care what says. Forget the news, the paper, the tabloids, the classifieds, entertainment, the androids. Let's freak the stains, romance on the floor. Cause I don't care what's said in the tabloids. It's in the air, I can see the glass. The gossip's brewing, but I'm well prepared. All the noise don't bother me. I'm right where I wanna be. I just wanna move, girl. Just wanna move, girl. I just wanna move, girl. Just wanna move, girl. I just wanna move, girl. I just wanna move, girl. I just wanna move, girl. Forget the news, the paper, the tabloids, the classifieds, entertainment, the androids. Let's freak the stains, romance on the floor. Cause I don't care what's said in the tabloids. Forget the news, the paper, the tabloids, the classifieds, entertainment, the androids. Let's freak the stains, romance on the floor. Cause